In the grand theater of history, nations often find themselves at a crossroads, faced with choices that can shape their destiny. India, a land steeped in tradition and teeming with potential, embarked on a transformative journey towards modernization. Yet this path was not without its twists and turns, and one chapter in India's modernization story stands out: the delays and challenges faced during the tenure of the Congress government. In this exploration, we delve into the modernization efforts of India, tracing the intricacies and roadblocks that hindered progress while shedding light on the opportunities that lay ahead. India's path to military modernization has been a continuous and evolving process, driven by the recognition of its strategic imperatives and the need to safeguard its sovereignty in a volatile region. This journey can be traced back to the early years of independence, marked by a series of wars and conflicts that exposed the inadequacies of India's armed forces. Despite the imperatives, India's progress in modernizing its military was often hampered by bureaucratic complexities and inefficiencies. However, in recent years, the nation has made significant strides in defense procurement, transitioning from an importer of arms to an emerging exporter. This article delves into the historical context, bureaucratic challenges, and recent progress that define India's military modernization story. Early challenges and realizations. India gained its independence in 1947, so by the 1960s, it was still navigating the complexities of governing itself. However, the Sino-Indian War of 1962 arrived seemingly out of nowhere and served as a sudden wake-up call for India's armed forces, highlighting several critical issues. Firstly, a major problem was the outdated equipment our troops were using. They were armed with old guns, placing them at a significant disadvantage. Additionally, our communication tools were obsolete, making it challenging for different units to coordinate effectively. And the logistical aspect was a total mess. Supplying our troops was chaotic. But China's attack during that war caught us off guard. We were unprepared, and our troops were outnumbered. This emphasized the need for us to step up our game, improve logistics, and upgrade our weaponry. However, the wake-up call didn't end there. In 1965 and 1971, we encountered further challenges with Pakistan, underscoring the urgency of modernizing our armed forces. During the 1965 war with Pakistan, we learned the vital importance of having modern guns, tanks, and anti-tank weapons. Having the right equipment significantly improved our troops' performance. Then, in 1971, we realized the critical need for effective cooperation between our Air Force and Navy. Success depended on teamwork. The wars of the 1960s and 1970s made it abundantly clear that we needed to enhance our military, streamline its efficiency, and ensure seamless coordination among different branches. It was a tough lesson to learn, but ultimately, it made India stronger. To understand the challenges India faced in its military modernization, let's delve into the issue of bureaucratic delays. Bureaucratic delays. India's armed forces knew they needed to modernize, but there was a big problem. How they got new stuff was tangled up in bureaucracy and delays. As we stepped into the decades following independence, things were moving at a snail's pace when it came to modernizing our military. And why was that? Well, there were tons of problems standing in the way. The 1970s and 1980s, in particular, were kind of like a slow-motion movie regarding military upgrades. These big plans were to get shiny new weapons, like the Bofors howitzers, but it turned into a real mess. Allegations of corruption were flying around, and negotiations seemed to stretch on forever. It was like watching a never-ending tennis match, and it made everyone lose faith in the whole process. And let's not forget the infamous complexity of India's defense procurement system. It was like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded. There were so many layers of bureaucracy, with different ministries and committees all wanting a say in the decisions. This tangled web of red tape led to delays, budgets going haywire, and nobody really being accountable for anything. It was enough to drive both the military and policymakers up the wall. Now fast-forwarding to the last 10 years, India has been on a roll in modernizing its military, changing dynamics. Now fast-forwarding to the last 10 years, India has been on a roll in modernizing its military. They decided it was high time to rely less on other countries for their weapons and focus on making their own. In 2014, they launched this cool thing called the Make in India initiative. Basically, it was like an open invitation to foreign defense companies, saying, hey, let's work together. These companies were encouraged to team up with Indian partners and set up shop in India to manufacture stuff locally. The goal? To buy fewer weapons from other countries and become more self-reliant in making their own defense stuff. They didn't stop there. India also thought, hey, why not make the process of buying military stuff less complicated? So they introduced some changes to the rules. This new thing, called the Strategic Partnership Model, meant private companies could team up with the government to make important defense things more efficient. It was like streamlining the whole process. One of the coolest things is that India went from being the one asking for weapons to becoming a seller. Yep, they started exporting their own defense equipment to other countries. It's like going from a student to a teacher. This showed that India was getting pretty good at making military gear. But, as with any big mission, there are still some challenges. India has to figure out how to make super high-tech stuff like aircraft engines and fancy electronics. It's like trying to build a spaceship where you've only made bicycles before. So that's a big challenge they're working on. Then there's the money stuff. You see, they have to make sure they have enough cash to modernize their military, while also taking care of other important things like schools, hospitals, and roads. It's like trying to juggle a bunch of balls in the air without dropping any. India's journey from a nation perennially short of military equipment to an emerging exporter of arms is a testament to its resolve and adaptability. Policy reforms and strategic initiatives have gradually overcome the early challenges of bureaucratic delays and inefficiencies. India's progress in military modernization is essential for its security and reshaping its role in the global defense industry. As India continues to modernize its armed forces, it must remain vigilant, address existing challenges, and adapt to emerging security threats. With a strategic approach, a focus on innovation, and a commitment to self-reliance, India can further strengthen its defense capabilities and solidify its position as a key player in the global defense arena. The journey from scarcity to sovereignty in defense will define India's role in the 21st century geopolitical landscape. What are the remaining challenges that India must address to ensure the continued success of its military modernization efforts and its role as a key player in the global defense landscape? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, leave a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Tap the bell icon to turn on notifications to stay updated with all our latest videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.